Decided to let Mark Anthony hang out with us a little bit longer because I can't get enough. Once again, this has been great. So off camera, we talked about my grandmother. She recently passed away. You threw out a few names that may be engaged in her life. You asked me some questions and kind of made me think twice, and it's fascinating. And I could see where it could be a little scary for some people too, right?
It's the unknown. What people need to understand is something Albert Einstein said 100 years ago was that there's no matter, there's only energy which vibrates at different frequencies. So there's electrical fields in our body. We know this. This is scientific fact. And think of your brain like a computer hard drive, and your soul is housed in the brain. And your soul is not created by the brain. And when your brain ceases functioning, like when your hard drive crashes, the information gets uploaded to the cloud. The way I like to describe it, Mark, is think of your soul as a drop of water. And when you leave your body, that drop of water plunges into an eternal sea and then becomes interconnected with everything everywhere. We retain our individuality, but then we become part of this collective consciousness. And that collective consciousness, you can disconnect from it to communicate. And so that's the basis of spirit communication. But the fact remains that we too are energy. We're just vibrating at a lower frequency. And so spirits are able to communicate with us because we are all energy.
Did you get all that? Get all that? If not, go tonight, go tomorrow. So we talked off camera also. I want to ask you about this. So where my kids go to school, the Eagle County Charter Academy, 5 minutes to the west. The school was built near an old cemetery. Numerous people have told me that they've seen a lady in a wedding dress, a gentleman, an older gentleman in overalls with one strap down, and a little child as these spirits that roam around the hallways of the school. Is this another piece of what you do, or is that something else altogether?
Well, I've been on several paranormal investigations, and I travel the world to mystical and supernatural sites. In fact, I recently did an episode on Coast to Coast with George Norrie called Haunted Real Estate. And it's funny, it was like, do things that go bump in the night bump up your real estate values or bump them down? And it's hilarious because, like in Hollywood, if you're trying to sell a haunted mansion in Beverly Hills, it's going to go for more. But if you have a house in a residential neighborhood that has the stigma of being haunted, might be less. And in paranormal research, there's 3 schools of thought on hauntings. 1, that there's a spirit that's lingering there. 2, that they return to the location from the other side. So they bounce back and forth between this side and the other side. And 3, that it's a residual energy echo. I go with number 3. When a spirit separates from the body, in other words, when you die, you know that you're dead. And in over 15,000 readings, I've yet to meet a spirit who was unhappy about transitioning. They become part of this collective consciousness. So they're not going to hang out. And it's like, do you really want to hang out in a slum when you could be, in Vail?
Right.
Okay? So they transition to the other side, but they may return to check things out. But with a residual energy echo, what we found in paranormal investigations is that matter retains energy and vibration. So in a place where there may have been a traumatic death, and people go there and they get the cold chills and tingles, what's happening is they're picking up on the event, the vibrational energy of the event. And the reason that you get cold chills and tingles is because the energy of that event is interfacing with your body's electrical field, and you get the chills and tingles, which is the same physiological response as flight or fight. Ergo, we immediately assume it's negative and scary. Okay. So that's why I always approach hauntings very objectively, as opposed to, oh my gosh, there's some negative thing here.
You got to leave again. We're done. That was the quickest interview ever. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Once again, Vail Symposium tonight, tomorrow night. Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer. There's a lot to be found out with this guy right here. So be a part of it. VailSymposium.org. We have Molly with a look at that weather forecast coming up next.